Welcome to Paths Tutorials. This is going to be an Arduino video where basically we are going to be making a stroboscope. Now the supplies you will need for this project is one LED of any color. We need about 5 jumper cables or standard wire. We need one breadboard, and we'll need an Arduino, any type will work, a potentiometer, and a cord to connect an Arduino to a computer, and a computer with the Arduino IDE installed. Now we can go on Arduino's website, which is arduino.cc, click software, and we're going to go to downloads. And right now we're just looking for the IDE, and you can either code on their online web editor, but in this video we are going to be using the Arduino IDE, so you can download the right file for your operating system. In this case, I'm going to download the Mac OS, and we're just going to download. And currently it is installing the zip, and you're going to unzip that and configure it, and once you're done, the IDE will look like this. So once you have the IDE installed, you can run it here, and we're going to close this, and you can expand it, and you can see the basic coding setup. And just a quick overview is you will actually go to Tools and press Port, and whatever port it's connected to, you select that board and it'll run to that port. So that's one thing that you have to do when you get the IDE set up. So in terms of the hardware setup, we have the potentiometer. We're actually just going to hook that up to these holes right here. And we can see it's just going to sit in right there. And we're actually going to grab some wires. Now we are going to hook the one on the far left to ground. And we're actually just going to place this right along the bottom row. And we're actually going to grab the white wire, which is going to represent the positive, and we're going to stick that right there and connect that to this hole, one right above the ground. And we're actually connecting a third wire, which is going to represent the analog or the value of the potentiometer. We're going to stick that in the center one, and we are going to actually connect that directly to the second port where it says analog 2, A2 on the Arduino, and we're going to actually wire that directly in. And there's actually 2 other wires that we have to put in. We have to put in a 5-volt wire, which is going to go straight from the 5-volt to the upper column right here. And we're going to put in a ground into the ground, any of these 2, and put it to the bottom. So we're going to do the ground first. And we're going to do the power, which puts 5 volts right there. We're going to connect that to the top. So the breadboard is doing is it's actually running the current all the way along this way on these first 2, and then on these right here it's running straight up. So when we connect it straight up, it's going directly to the potentiometer. So this is actually all wired correctly, and we're just gonna kind of zoom in and see. And that is all the wiring that we need to do for this, except for the LED, which we're actually just going to put in. See, the longer leg is going to go into 13, and the shorter leg is going to go into ground. And that is your complete wired up version of the stroboscope. So now, once the hardware is all set up, we're going to get into coding. So once we get in the IDE, we are going to create a variable, an integer called analog pin, and set it to the value of 2. Now we're going to create another integer called LED pin and set it to 13. Now we're going to create a long, which is called on time, and set it to 250. Set an integer which is named min delay to 1. Set an integer max delay to 100. Now we're going to create one more, which is called long, named strobe delay, and set it to 0. Now in the void setup, which should already be there, you're going to type in pin mode, open parentheses, lead pin, and comma output. Now inside the void loop, we're going to look at what it says. So now we have strobe delay is equal to map analog read analog pin 0, 1, 0, 2, 3, and this number is basically the minimum and maximum of the potentiometer, and these are the two variables that we set earlier. Now, what it's going to do here is it's basically reading the value of the potentiometer and setting it to the delay and how many microseconds the light will stall. So basically, as the potentiometer spins and increases in value, the delay will actually decrease, which means that the light will appear blinking faster and faster. And if the potentiometer is basically at its lowest point, then the light will blink at basically the slowest that it can be. So that is the code, and once you have completely finished all of that, we're going to connect our Arduino up with the cable and connect it to right there. And we are right now actually going to click the upload button, which is right there. And what it's doing is it's sending all the information to the board. And if that doesn't work, make sure to go to Tools and select Port, and it should be on the one that says Arduino Uno. So once you do that, make sure to click Upload, and there should be no errors. Now that we have the program loaded on, we can play with the potentiometer, and we can see as it increases, the light will shine and strobe faster, and as it decreases, it will appear to go slower. So that is the stroboscope. I hope you enjoyed the project, and in the next project we are going to be going over the servo motor.